The virtue of the Protector shines as a beacon of courage. Its bearer's honor will be tested, and his spirit will be pushed to its limit. And in our darkest hour, it shall illuminate the path of justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Internet Personality Vangelus, and we are here to look at the TFX-04C Protector, the crystal version of the Protector armor from TF Parallax by Fans Project. I want to point out just for 1 second this packaging, which is all wiggy and clear plasticky. It's kind of a cool effect for a crystal toy, and it's a lot more impressive than the usual Fans Project repackagings where they just change all the colors on the box. And the cool part is that, well, you can kind of see the armor through here. If you spin it around and orient the insides properly, you then get this sort of pseudo window box, which is kind of cool. I like this effect. The whole package is just interesting, because also when you pull this thing out, it's in this kind of half box where there's a box and a lack of a window here, and you spin it around and then there's just no box. So that's kind of interesting. And there's also a tiny little half manual inside so that you can just see the transformation instructions and then see this mysterious page at the back with a city commander who totally has a hole blown in his stomach. He's history, chow. And Steel, what do you think? Wrong thing, but the right person. No! Mate, hang on, don't go! Parallax is being centralized! The Crystal Protector trailer is designed to match up with the Sons of Cybertron classic Rodimus release. And it does! But there is one small discrepancy. Rodimus has a very smooth and glossy clear plastic, while the Protector trailer is just a touch more opaque and textured. To be honest, I think this is for the better. It looks and feels a lot more durable while having a similar effect. It's also decked out to match the Henkei colors more than anything with its chromed gold pieces and copper gold flame apps. And did you know that it can roll? It really can. So what I mean by this difference in plastic is that this dude, you know, he's real glossy plastic. He looks real glass-like, whereas this thing seems a lot more just like a thicker, semi-clear plastic. And I think this feels a lot more solid, especially on a lot of the joints. But have you ever wondered what it would look like to have a crystal trailer on a non-crystal Rodimus? It's blaspheming time, folks! Ah! Actually, that doesn't look all that bad, seeing how the orange down here still isn't clear, so it kind of matches up with having a non-clear car in the front. There's a bit of a line drawn that still sort of works. And you know, the front of the car, it still has, like, clear plastic here, so this actually isn't all that bad. The orange matches up still. I'd say if you don't have a clear Rodimus, this clear trailer still does kind of work with this one, at least in this mode. But what if we remove all the clear plastic? What if we blaspheme harder than before? Grind it! Ah! Yeah, this really doesn't work at all. The yellow thing here just sticks out like hella huge, and then this red doesn't match with anything. This orange barely matches with anything. This blue windshield just doesn't look right at all, considering how there's actual clear stuff back here. So, Battle in Space Rodimus, I admit maybe I have some bias because I just don't like how it turned out, but this is what it looks like in the clear trailer. That's one question answered. Like, even the wheels don't match up. Anyway, let's get to the real meat and potatoes of this. Let's transform! Let's rise up! Let's combine! Let's protect!
Hear me, forces of evil! Once, I was only a cavalier, but now the artifact pulses within my chassis. The soul of the commander stands at my side. I bear the strength that will protect the innocent from your darkness! Protector! We are one! Experience is the benchmark of maturity.
Coated in a crystalline casing, the Crystal Protector robot mode feels like a born centerpiece. Like the trailer, all the paint apps are more or less the same as the original, with the yellows changed to a more Henkei-style copper. Unfortunately, there is still a painted patch of red on the legs, but that is because the boots are a semi-clear smoke gray plastic. In fact, all the black plastic reveals itself to be slightly transparent upon closer inspection. Oh, and check out the chest plate! Being done entirely in clear plastic colors works wonders with the sculpted flame design. Really, check out how clear this plastic is. Like, everything is all shimmering, and even the legs are kind of see-through. Even his gun is somewhat clear plastic. So, I am liking how Fans Project went very all out with how clear this guy could get. Again, you know, these red bits, it's because they're on smoky gray. I don't really see any other way they could have done this without losing that smoke gray effect. And it's time to compare, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your two protectors, and you can see that they are basically the same paint mapping, just with different colors and applications and whatnot. And I like them both quite a bit. I think that this could be something interesting to experiment with a Henkei version of Rodimus, which I unfortunately don't have. Oh, and also, dem fins. They are real chrome compared to the orange. These are basically the same chrome fins that came with the sidearm release. But that aside, I think we should do a little bit of experimenting with what I do have, and let's start mixing our rods. So we got us some Rodimus in crystal armor here, and I think this actually works pretty decently. Of course, the color matching is completely gone, but you're sticking translucent stuff on a non-translucent robot, so at that point I think you gotta have some concessions allowed for. The chest plate has almost a different effect now that there's solid stuff behind it. This is still kind of clear, and it still looks kind of blazing, but with a solid robot on the underside. The fins totally look weird, but the arms and legs, like the legs totally work because it's the smoky gray that does look pretty solid under certain lighting conditions, and only really looks transparent when, you know, it's around other transparent plastic and you're shining lights on it and stuff. So if you do only have a normal Rodimus and you're thinking of getting some crystal armor for him, as you can see, it doesn't look all that bad. It just looks a little bit strange. But let's say that you weren't collecting back in 2006 and you have to make do with a different Rodimus. Putting the Battle in Space Rodimus into the Crystal Protector armor was one of the strangest experiences I've had all week. Let me just get this right out of the way. These gold fins, plus those bright yellow fins, totally don't look right at all. In fact, a whole lot of this doesn't really look right at all, but there's a few parts that surprise me with how they do kind of work. Basically, the chest, again, due to the crystalline nature of the chest, having this bright yellow thing behind it gives it, again, a slightly different look, a slightly more bright and blazing look. That said, though, a lot of this other stuff just doesn't really work for me, because the Battle in Space Rodimus has such a bright red plastic color, and the Crystalline armor is even darker than the original Protector set. Like, this color matchup only barely works, this color matchup just doesn't work at all, so, I don't know. I mean, if this is your only Rodimus and you really like crystal armor, then by all means go for it. This does not really look all that blended in. I guess an interesting concept is, because these things are so dark and transparent, it looks as though these are like made of pure energy, as opposed to the solid metal of the rest of Rodimus's body. The other funny thing about this, by the way, these are huge fingerprint magnets. Since he has this like solid blue painted series of windshields back here, they look weird when there's actual clear plastic on them. It's like, because there's clear plastic here, this means that these windshields they're not just cartoony, they're actually painted over blue now. So no one inside Rodimus can see where he's going when he is this version, and this version's all like, come on, get inside, Daniel, we're gonna go fishing. You don't get to see where we're going. And Daniel sits down in the back and his big black bag just pulls down over his head, and what am I talking about? Right, alright, the toy. Let's go on to the rest of the trailer's leftover pieces. Thanks to its large amounts of red translucent plastic, the Protector trailer tank has a deeper crimson hue to it than its predecessor. That, combined with the copper in place of the yellow, makes it look quite a bit darker than one might expect. And somehow I actually like how it looks a little bit more than the original Protector. I think it's just the layered mass of candy-like red plastic on top of other candy-like red plastics that are all kind of see-through. It makes it look enticing and almost a little bit delicious. And you know what else we need to see? We need some comparisons, because that's what everyone wants to see. So here's the other Protector trailer. Here's both Protector trailers. Here's what they look like in their tank modes next to each other. I said everything that's different already, so I guess just look at this a bunch. See if you're drawing any further conclusions that perhaps I missed. There's some chrome there. Yeah, these things are the identical molds with identical paint tampos, a few color changes, and translucent plastic. Again, this is just what they look like when they're totally crashing into it. Let's play bumper tanks. Hey, you, Blesser, you're such a nice guy. No, I'm not. Oh, no. Ah, my tank tipped over. I'm the Blesser. Ha, ha, ha. There's not much else to add when looking at the gun emplacement mode. Again, the formerly black plastic on here is now a semi-see-through smoky gray. I love that extra touch, especially since it isn't obvious until you shine light directly on the toy. And really, that's all I got to say. I mean, this is otherwise just the same as in that other video review I already did. I mean, here, I'll stick Crystal Protector on the emplacement so you can see what he looks like when he's manning it. He's got his, you know, his little fist handle things here, and he's totally all like, pshoo, pshoo, pshoo. Wait a second! You're battling Space Rodimus, you lout! You bargain bin layabout cockroach! I'm gonna get... Anyway... There's also a comparison I can do, which is with the Protector original release gun emplacement, and this barely fits in shot. Really, I don't know if you even need to see these comparisons all the time, but, you know, I'd rather be concise than, abridged. Even Carrier gets a crystalline treatment, which is very friendly to its already sexy curves. It also fits in really well with the translucent red flame that comes with the Sons of Cybertron Clear Henkei Rodimus. So you can have a very color-coded butt flame coming out of the translucent little car who still rolls. If you want to compare that to the blue butt-flamed one that came with the original Protector and original Classics Rodimus, then here you go. Here's your time, ladies and gentlemen, to see these two little car things next to each other. One is clear, the other's not, and that's what they look like next to each other. So don't get too excited now, because I don't want to hear about someone, like, seeing this clip and then, like, just falling out of their chair as their heart explodes and they break their neck and then fall down a staircase that was next to their chair. That would bum me out, so don't do that. Oh, and then there's this thing. You do get this with the Crystal Protector set, and as far as I can tell, it's completely identical to this one that came with the original Protector set. I never talked about this in my original Protector video because when I got that figure, no one knew about this yet, and I was asked not to mention it till other people got it, so I'm not going to mention it here either since it's completely identical, and I'm going to be doing an update video for the original Protector, so if you want to know what this thing does, it lets you shake hands. You see? They're shaking hands! Like gentlemen! Politeness! Takes you far! Drink your milk! The Crystal version of the Protector trailer is a bit of a luxury item amidst a sea of what are already fairly luxury items. While its immediate draw is to be paired up with the Henkei Clear Rodimus, I think it also is suited to what I've seen of the normal Henkei Rodimus release. The Crystal Protector has an overall darker sheen, which feels more in line with Henkei Rodimus than the classic centric color scheme that the Protector debuted under. It also helps that the Crystal version is bundled with chromed fins right out of the box. If you're a Henkei Rodimus owner, definitely give this a look. And if you actually have the Sons of Cybertron Clear Rodimus, you really ought to at least check this out in person sometime, since you're already down that road of spending. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and this has been another look at the Protector in a slightly different light. I hope it's helped you come to terms with whether or not you want to have a piece of the crystal pie. I mean, it's crunchy, but it looks so much like candy. I could go for a bite right now, actually. Come here for a second. Good night, everybody. Oh, you look delicious.